Children are the poorest people in the whole world. They have minimal skills, minimal education, and frankly, they're just too small. When thinking of children in third world countries like Afghanistan, we view children lacking the basic necessities of life. In America, the poor children are seen as having a slight advantage due to the fact that they have access to things like medical care, food shelters, and education. But what if I were to tell you that those same dismal conditions of third world life did apply to a community of Americans? In the Appalachian Mountains, which go through 10 U.S. states, there are children who lack basic societal necessities such as medical care, education, and housing. They have been living there for generations, going unnoticed until it was brought to the attention of United States President John F. Kennedy, who then announced this to the American people and created the Appalachian Regional Commission. Although this area is one of the nation's largest producers of coal, the parents still struggle to make ends meet for their families. And even with the support of presidents and the ARC, the conditions of have not drastically changed in recent years. One of the most important things that children need in order to survive is health care. Healthcare throughout Appalachian Mountains is scarce, and most of the people are misinformed about basic health facts. A major health concern with children in Appalachia is a gum disease called Mountain Dew Mouth. Mountain Dew Mouth, as you may have guessed, is caused by the soda Mountain Dew and rots the teeth and gums. Shown in the documentary Hidden America, Children in the Mountains, the drink Mountain Dew is a part of the Appalachian lifestyle and is given to children at a very young age. Because of this and other factors, there is a widespread epidemic of toothlessness in most of the Appalachian communities. ABC News states the statistic 1 out of 10 residents is completely without teeth, and children as young as 2 already have as many as 12 cavities. In addition to the dental health, the overall health of children in the Appalachian Mountains is poor due to the lack of nutritious foods in the area. Most people there are on welfare. However, they have to feed multiple members in the family, such as grandparents, uncles, and aunts, who also have families of their own. Also, to extend food supplies, families have to buy cheaper foods that do not have as much nutritional value, such as potato chips and ho-hos, things of that nature. A family in the documentary Hidden America, Children in the Mountains, had 12 people living in the same house with food stamps of $523 a month and could not afford fruits and vegetables, so they get potato chips and put Pepsi in a 2-year-old's bottle. The lack of nutritional knowledge and value contribute greatly to the poor health of the children of Appalachia. Equally important to nutritional knowledge is education. In the excerpt, The Life You Can Save by Peter Singer, he says that one of the things that poverty means, extreme poverty means, is you can't afford to send your children to school, or if they do start school, you have to take them out again. Access to schools and family responsibilities for people who live deeper in the mountains contributes to the dropout rate and lack of education. The literacy rate among adults is low, and children do not have availability to many books or educational programs besides what may be provided by churches. Another family in the documentary Hidden in America, Children in the Mountains, had a son who was a football star, Sean Grimm, and he was going to be the first in his family to graduate high school. One of his parents was illiterate, and he says that he never really remembers having books around in the house. Children in the hills of Appalachia also have to worry about the distance from school to their homes. As a woman tried to obtain her GED, she walked 16 miles round trip, no matter the weather, just to better her life and her children's lives. Although there has been improvement in some areas like Hazard, Kentucky, the majority of children still do not have access or have poor conditions in their schools. Finally, quality of housing in the hills of Appalachia is poor, even with prices being cheap. Remember the family of 12 living in the same house? That is a common occurrence in most households in the mountains. Most parents are unemployed for various reasons and have to cram their family in with multiple families and also share resources. Although this may add to a sense of family and communities because they are so close and tight knit, it also adds to the criminality aspect of society. Children can become vulnerable prey in larger family households. For example, Sean Grimm's family experienced that in the documentary when his little sister, who is 12 years old, was found having sex with his older half brother, who was in his late 20s. Though the family was mad and upset about the situation, they did not believe that this was a common occurrence in the Appalachian community. Ken Coote, the director of Hope Hill Children's Home, says, "Unfortunately, Eastern Kentucky has a stereotype of incest, but it's everywhere. It's in the whole United States, and we have to be able to make sure and get out that this cycle has to be broken." With poverty in children, there is a more likely occurrence of criminal behavior, drug abuse, and sexual harassment, especially when living in such close and disheveled quarters. Ultimately, the conditions that children in Appalachia are experiencing are no better than any third world country's poor. They suffer health problems with little chance of ailment or treatment. Their access to schools are limited due to distance and conditions of schools. They also suffer at home, living in kennel-like conditions with multiple families. Children in the Appalachian Mountains do not go very far in life, but that does not mean that they do not have hope. There are people like Dr. Edwin Smith and Dr. Anat Shandell that come to these communities and help with basic health care for no charge or whatever can be donated. Dr. Shandell, who is originally born and raised in India, is even quoted in saying, "It's hard to believe, but yes, people are poorer in this part of the country than where I was in India." Even though the majority of the United States poor is considered to be rich compared to third world standards, according to Peter Singer, there are still children in the United States who lack the basic necessities to live. Thank you for listening.